Hi, Phil Borders, Psychiatrist Hendricks Therapy. Last time we spoke about the HPA axis, and everybody was very excited to talk about that, and all kinds of people have been talking about it now all over the country. They're just so excited about it, they just don't know what to do. Today we're going to talk about performance anxiety, which is part of the HPA axis. Performance anxiety is an anxiety that about 40% of the population has, and this is where we have too much anxiety when we are in situations where we are performing, such as giving a speech in front of others, playing a musical instrument, playing a ball game where there's other people watching us, and we get anxious during those situations. Now, a lot of people do not, but again, 40% is a pretty high number. And the 40% they have these symptoms, such as dry mouth, rapid heart rate, maybe some nausea, sweatiness, the pitch of your voice goes up when you're speaking. About 40% of the population have these symptoms during performance. So why do these people have these symptoms when other people don't? I think mostly it's genetic. I think a lot of people are just born with anxiety. Some people might have had some bad experiences with performance anxiety, but again, I think most people are just born with this type of anxiety, and they're just genetically predisposed to having these symptoms during these activities. How it happens is our cortex, the outer part of our brain, which is the thinking part of our brain, starts influencing our HPA axis, and it gets us revved up. So if I have to give a speech tomorrow, I start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to screw up. I'm not going to do very well. I'm going to embarrass myself again. So when I have these negative thoughts, it directly influences this axis, gets it all revved up, and I start getting anxious. And then when I start getting anxious, I start feeling the anxiety. I start feeling my heart race. I can tell that I'm breathing fast. I can tell that the pitch of my voice is a little higher than usual. I can tell my mouth's a little dry. So I feel the anxiety, which usually creates a little bit more anxiety. So this is turning on this, and this is turning on this. So this is kind of like this vicious cycle. An example. About 5 years ago, I was asked to play on a basketball team. And I played as a friend of mine, Dave. He asked myself and another psychiatrist, Drew class. Drew is a psychiatrist up in the northern part of Indianapolis. And Dave must have been really, really, really desperate because Drew and I are both athletically challenged. I don't think Drew's going to be upset by hearing that. So Dave was very desperate to get people on his team. Drew and I joined. And I hadn't played basketball for 20 years, and 20 years ago I still wasn't very good, so I knew I wasn't going to be very good this time. So the first ball game, Drew probably put up a terrible shot, and I rebounded it. And I got fouled. So I am really nervous and anxious the whole time, and my muscles are just tense. So I get up to the free throw line, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, don't miss it, don't embarrass yourself. So I throw up an air ball. Now, that's kind of a quasi-disaster. It was very un-Victor Oladipo-like. But, my teammates were pretty encouraging. It's like, it's no big deal. Go ahead, they were kind of clapping and stuff for me. Next time, I think I banked it in, which isn't a good sign, but at least it hit something. So we're playing around for a few more minutes. And I think Drew threw up another terrible shot, and I rebounded this one, got fouled again. So I go back to the free throw line. So I'm a little bit looser this time, but still not very athletically inclined. And I throw up another air ball. So that's 2 air balls out of 3 foul shots. And this time my poor teammates, they just didn't make any eye contact. They just looked down, no encouragement, no anything. So my performance anxiety got in the way. Now, what I should have done, and this is what we can all do, is we can help our performance anxiety in a number of ways. One is to just try to calm down this axis directly. One way we can do that is get adequate sleep. Maybe I shouldn't have had coffee that morning. Caffeine can rev up this axis. Practice. Maybe I should have practiced some free throw shots before 20 years of not playing basketball. That would have probably been a pretty good idea. It would have calmed me down. I probably would have made 2 out of 4 instead of 1 out of 4. And also I can use my thoughts. If I could use my brain, it's like, you know what? They don't really care. Nobody's going to laugh at you that much if you throw up 2 air balls. Well, they did laugh, but it wasn't the end of the world. Life goes on. Not that big a deal. Nobody cares. If I could have done that and prepared that way, I probably wouldn't have been so anxious. It would have been a better outcome. So we can work on the cortex. We can prepare and just kind of dampen our nerve center. And also some medications help, like if you've ever heard of beta blockers like propranolol, which it doesn't really lower the anxiety, but what it does, it blocks our body's response to the adrenaline that's pushing out from the adrenal glands in the HPA axis. So that is performance anxiety. Next time we're going to talk about loser dudes. It's a topic that everyone wants to hear about. They're everywhere. So next time we're talking about loser dudes.